So where is the DLC team at? Let's go over it. Alright, so we are at the endgame officially. Now we still have units that are Star Sphered. I'll probably drop Star Sphere after this chapter and the next one. So we'll have Star Sphere for 2 more chapters, which, you know, these 2 levels, chapter 21 and 22, have a lot of enemies on them, so I should be getting a lot of level ups. Let's go over the builds. I'll go over what they're going for, the passives, what they're going to run long term, which obviously there's not too much of the game left after this 2-chapter series, so let's go over it. Alright, so first we have Chloe. So she's actually on Roy. This build, the idea behind it is we're leveraging, she was Star Sphered for a while. She did get a few points of build, like 1 or 2 points of build more than she would have otherwise. And her speed is slightly higher than it would be normally, but she's going to be really fast on Griffin anyways. And if you want to run this and have it be weightless, like a physical Griffin, you could just run Fencelar, because it gets to be insanely low weight. So Fencelar plus 5. She also has Lance Power 3 and Canter, so that she can dive. She's on Roy. Now, one thing people don't really know about Roy, some people do know this, but is that when you engage, you get stat increase, right? However, on fixed mode, and this might be the same for random, I'm not sure, but on fixed mode, it looks at your speed growth, whatever your growths are, and gives you like stats, right? So in this case, when she engages, she gets plus 4 speed, which is a lot of speed. She can now double this enemy. So that's a substantial amount of speed. So you get holdout, you get good damage, you can canter, and you can also get huge speed and a damage increase as well. Now she's only bond level 10. I didn't do Roy's Paralog. I actually banned it for this playthrough. But if she did Roy's Paralog, she would be plus 6 strength. Now the plus 5, part of that is from being engaged and getting the Rise Above. So I think she's like plus 3 strength and then plus 2 more from Rise Above. So she would be plus 8 strength. And also if she had Lance Power 4 to 5, like she would be, you know, one-rounding this pretty easily. So there's her build. It's a Lance Power build. It's very simple, very straightforward. It's a Roy build. It's technically not even a DLC build, but it's still good. It still puts in work, you know. She was on Tiki for a while. I moved Tiki over to Goldmary, who's been doing okay on her. I need to do some paralogs still, so if I wanted to power level Goldmary a little bit more on Tiki, I could do that. But let's go over Fram's build. So Fram is just a utility unit, you know, chain guard, staff bot. She doesn't really punch things, but she can also rally plus to give everyone stat boost, give everyone plus 3 to all their stats. So now everyone's much faster. You know, 37 speed on these units, increased, you know, dex, lock, everything. Defense and res as well. So this lets your team double more consistently. If she has nothing to do on a particular turn, she can just rally, and with the 2 range, it can hit a lot of your units, so that's pretty good. On Alear, we just have Edelgard ring. I'm just going for the dragon combo, you know, the the Raging Storm. I don't know why I call it the dragon combo, but you can go for the Raging Storm and then the Houses Unite. You can't Houses Unite plus because I banned Byleth. Now obviously normally you can, so you get 3 actions, which usually is enough to get 3 kills. So in this situation, these armors are going to be pretty durable to Alear's physical damage, so Raging Storming them is not going to do much. Using Houses Unite on them is also not going to do much. Hitting this guy with Raging Storm could be good, and then Houses Unite on this, that could be 2 kills. This team probably will have a rough time just on these units, but then once we get to the rest of the enemies, it should be fine. So there's Alear's build, and then Anna, she's really just using Camilla for the speed increase. She has Star Sphere just for stats. She has leveled up quite a bit. She has 8 build as well, so this only slows her down by 2, this Levin sword. She also has the speed increase from Camilla, so speed plus 3 right now. I think it goes up to speed plus 4 or 5 as she levels it up. Now, Camilla is not the best emblem, so using it just for speed fixing is not the best. I would rather her be on something else like Lucina, then she could like bonded like Merrin or something. But it's okay. It's not the best, but there's better options. It's kind of bad. The flying is redundant. The extra move can be nice situationally. Dark Inferno can be good just for like creating fire tiles to delay enemies. and the damage on it's kind of low, so it's not really useful. Goldmary, right now, she's speed res +4 to patch up her res so that she can off-tank. And I wanted to run Silver Sword, even though it's very expensive to forge, but I wanted to run it just to see how it would do. And it's okay. It's not really that good. I'm running Gentility. I wanted to get Gentility Plus, and I wanted the Erica unit to engage. And currently it looks like there is no Erica unit, so that's a problem. I think the Erica unit I was using died. I've just been letting people die in this run because I don't care about like the extra teammates that aren't, you know, actually getting builds. So like Ivy, I just had Ivy as a staff bot that would Thor on occasionally, and she died, so it doesn't matter. Let's see, who would run Erica? Now we could damage fix someone. So Erica damage fixes. And generally you want, so what I could do, if he gets speed plus passive, he could run Flashing Fist and be an Erica user. I could do that. I could give her Erica. I could give, honestly, Anna would probably be better off on Erica and drop Star Sphere for speed passive. The only thing that sucks is I banned Lynn, so I can't just get speed +5, which is only 2k SP. So that's very unfortunate. Anna probably doesn't need that much damage from Erica. Her speed is good enough, like 31 speed. She would be 31 without the emblem. She probably is better off just running Erica, honestly. Because it gives her more damage. Like, it gives you a ton of damage. It's like one of the best things in the game. You also get more, yeah, you get more magic. You get more damage from the bravery. You get some luck for her passive. This actually is very logical. And then you would run like speed plus. So, all right, let's go over the other builds and then we'll wrap up. Timerra, I gave her strength dex, which is very expensive. I do not recommend it. Just get Lance Power. Jesus Christ, do not get this. It is super expensive. It is so, I think it's like 8.4k SP to get strength dex +5. It's ridiculous. Star Sphering her is like valuable. She gets points of build, so she's at 10 build instead of like 8. She'd probably be at around like 8 build, maybe 9 if you level her up enough. But Fencelar is very lightweight. I went for an avoid tank build, and she attacks. It's whatever. It's not as good as Timerra or Timerra Ike or even Timerra Roy. I think all of those are just better builds, but it's decent. Like, you get some speed. She can rally on a turn where she's enemy phasing. So for example, if I want to enemy phase a bunch of enemies and there's other allies that are going to be enemy phasing, she can like get in position, equip whatever weapon she wants, and then rally Spectrum so that your other allies are tankier and you can enemy phase more effectively, get some speed on those other allies. Alternatively, you could just have your other rally unit do that. Then we have Merrin. So the Merrin build is a Hector tank. So she's like an off tank. She engages. She has pretty good defense and res, really good speed. And when you engage, you get 30% more defense and res, but flying gets 50% more res. So it helps patch up her res. Now the only problem with this, I think Ike is just way better at tanking, and he gives you more value. Like, attacking this thing when engaged with Ike, you take half damage. You take like 20 damage when it hits you, but it doesn't matter what your defense and res is, it ignores armor. So certain enemies hit right through Hector's, like the worm enemies will hit right through Hector's defensive abilities. And that's definitely a huge downside. But a lot of these builds are just kind of like B or A tier compared to how they could be if they were running base game. Like, honestly, these two builds are just base game builds at this point. Like, this is literally a base game build. And also, it's using Steel Lance. It's not even using the Well Lance. I wanted to experiment with like steel and silver weapons again to see how they hold up. They're pretty good. Steel has free crit. It's pretty reliable. It's pretty good. And then Anna, if I were to just replace Star Sphere with speed +5, she would basically be doing what you would want her to be doing, doubling and one rounding. And, you know, on Erica, once she gets her bond level up, she'll be +5 damage per hit from Bravery Plus, and she'll be +3 damage per hit from Magic +3, so +16 damage just from attacking. And that's enough to damage fix Levin Sword, so at 1 round. She could also Twin Strike. I think you can Twin Strike with Levin Sword, so let's check that out. I'm fairly certain you can, because it's a sword, so so it actually plays into the strengths. All right, so let's engage. Just check it out. Yeah, Twin Strike. Yeah, you can't Twin Strike with the Levin Sword. No, The first hit is your weapon, the second hit is Ephraim's lance, so because it's targeting a high defense target, the second hit is dealing low damage, but against another foe, you would be able to kill it. And obviously in this case, you would just double these with attacking, like so, you just kill them. And then finally we have Linden, who I just added as like, you know, a staff bot with Thoron crit engraving. I banned the engravings, the paralogs, and the passives of the non-deployed emblems just to compare and see like the power level of the DLC emblems, and honestly, they're much worse than base game emblems. Now there might be some use cases, like I know some people really love the Soren builds with like the healing tanking. I could see that being valuable on like a holdout thing, but that's really holdout doing all the work. And I mean, there's like, the thing is, like a lot of the DLC builds that are good rely on Vantage and rely on holdout. So it's, or Wrath. Like they have like Vantage Soren needs Vantage. So you need Leaf skills. And like, yes, the build can be effective and you can one round and you can enemy phase and so on. But that's not even really the DLC. It's really the DLC plus base game. If it was just the DLC, then, you know, that would be a different story. Same thing with like reprisal builds. Reprisal builds, you want like holdout or Vantage so that you don't die or you counterattack before you would die. And all of them rely on like Leaf, which is funny. So I don't even consider, like, there's Leaf Vantage builds that are good that one shot that don't need the DLC. So it's not like that's unique. Yes, it can be powerful, but honestly, in my experience with running DLC, especially while banning other emblems, so that you can't just pick and choose the best elements of all of like these, you know, however many emblems, 17 emblems, however many there are, is that the DLC emblems are weaker than base game emblems, and the only ones that can kind of hold up are like Edelgard and Tiki, and the rest, like Hector is just, he's like better than Leaf on average, but way worse than Ike. And Leaf is like considered by most to be like one of the worst emblems. I don't even know why she has Leaf. That's kind of stupid. She should have something else. I actually don't know why she has Leaf. I think I just put it on her just so she would get more SP. Like before we got like better emblems, obviously. So, and he should have an emblem, even if it's just something stupid. He could have Camilla just to spam ice. That would be useful, so he could do that if I need it. But yeah, that's it for this one. I'm probably going to be done with this run. The team isn't really that fun to use. There's certain characters, like a lot of these are just like generic beaters. Like these two are just like generic one-rounders. And I wanted to try out different. I did have her on Hector. I know some people are recommending that. I did do that for most of the playthrough. It was okay. It's much better to be on Ike, Roy, Sigurd, or Erica. She runs all of those substantially better than Hector, because Hector, he does give you strength and defense and build, which does help her. But the defensive aspect of his kit and the fact that like piercing glare is kind of stupid, heavy attack is whatever, adaptability is just much worse than resolve. Resolve, you get +7 defense and res when you're at or below 75% HP at all times. Like once you meet that threshold, you're just insanely tanky. This just gives you one thing or the other once, and it doesn't stack whenever you get hit by it. So you take full damage and then you start getting, you know, some damage reduction, which can be kind of helpful, but it's whatever. Quick riposte I think is better on units who don't double usually and have high strength, so you don't have to worry about speed fixing. So I don't think this really plays into Timerra's strengths at all of being like a fast tank. I think this would be better on like Diamant or something, or maybe like an Amber tank if that's even a possibility. Maybe even a Goldmary tank. Some kind of like medium speed or slow tank that can't double. So that's really who would benefit. And then the heavy attack would play into using like great weapons or something. But yeah, if I had to rate this team compared to like base game teams, I would give it like a B tier. Even though I'm using like some of the best units, and I could have ran like Pandreo, I could have ran like Kagetsu. I do think Chloe and Anna are pretty competitive with those. Maybe Anna's a little bit worse than Pandreo in terms of pure combat, but she has made me so much gold. I was able to upgrade more weapons and buy more things and get more donations. She probably made me like 40 to 50k gold, legitimately. She made like 2 to 3k per map, and on some maps she made me like 5k. And with Erica, you can get her luck up. You can get up to luck +10 at bond level 20. That is huge. So that would get her to 38. luck, which is, you know, 38% chance a kill gets you money. And if you can get that to 50, which you can do, if you can get her to 50 luck, every other kill gets you 500 gold. And on an endgame map, she'll probably kill like 10 enemies. So that's not bad. And if you have her killing like repeating spawns with Void Curse, you can infinite farm, of course, if you want to. But yeah, that's it for this one. Definitely like and subscribe if you enjoyed this. I'll be doing another test run. I'll probably be done with the DLC. It was kind of a pain to set this up and to like substitute and keep track of what I'm allowed to use and not allowed to use. But overall, the DLC emblems, some are good, some are bad. It's kind of like the base game. And I'm sure there's better use cases for them. I'm not saying they're all bad. Like I'm sure there's good builds for Hector. I'm sure there's good builds for Chrom. I already know Edelgard and Tiki are really good. I can see how Soren could be good. Camilla seems like it's just good to throw on like your dancer to give him flying maybe. And for Veronica, obviously Contract is really good. Reprisal can be really good. Summoning the thing can be randomly good if you get a good summon. Otherwise, it can be just like a wasted turn. Because you have to consider if you're summoning something and you could just one-round something instead, you might as well do that. So, alright. That's it for this one. Peace.